Unlike many other countries, the United States has no laws limiting the time frame of presidential campaigns. Because of this, U.S. presidential candidates can formally enter the race at any time before an election. While the time frame varies for each candidate, most declare their intention to run the summer before the election year. In 2016, the first official presidential candidate, Republican Senator Ted Cruz, jumped into the race 596 days before Election Day. For the 2020 election, campaigning began even earlier. The first Democrat to file to run in the 2020 campaign, Congressman John Delaney, made his entrance 1,194 days before Election Day. For the 2024 presidential campaign, Donald Trump announced his White House bid nearly 2 years before Election Day, while President Joe Biden formally announced his re-election bid more than a year and a half out. Kamala Harris was a late entrant into the race, but only because Biden withdrew his candidacy 107 days before the election. The result is that U.S. voters are already tired of the campaigning. 62% of Americans said in May they were worn out by the election coverage, according to the Pew Research Center. Many other countries do not have this problem because they limit the length of election campaigns. In the United Kingdom, campaigns cannot begin until the end of the parliamentary session, with elections typically lasting about a month. In late May, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak called an early general election, announcing a vote to be held 6 weeks later. Election laws in Japan are some of the most restrictive in the world, with campaigns limited to just 12 days. In Sweden, while there are no laws limiting the length of campaigns, elections typically last for 2 months. In France, the presidential campaign is usually a few weeks. French President Emmanuel Macron called for snap parliamentary elections in June, with the first round taking place 3 weeks later. During Mexico's 2024 election, the official campaign season began on March 1st, 3 months ahead of the June 2nd election. Mexico also has an additional 6-week pre-campaign season in which candidates vie for the nomination. During Taiwan's presidential and legislative elections in January, campaigning officially ran for 28 days. In Australia, federal election campaigns generally last for about 6 weeks. And in Argentina, campaigning for the 2023 general election lasted nearly 7 weeks, with a ban on campaigning a day before the vote.